Hello students, in today's class we will see materials, how to apply color and texture. So when you start with applying the color, we need to think about what kind of material you are creating. Either it is a wood, cloth, plastic, metal. Then after that you need to think about what kind of texture it is. For example, if it is a cloth material, what kind of texture you are adding inside the cloth, what is the pattern design you are adding inside the cloth. So let's see. First you need to go in right side, you can see the icons here. Below you can see metal property. The first thing you want to apply the metal property, and it's already telling this geometry got a white color. Base color is white, it is also called as diffuse color, it's telling white. So let's create another geometry. I will add another geometry, and if you add a new geometry you can see it doesn't have anything like this property. So what we need to do, we need to create a new. Just click new. Now we got the metal property. Okay, so by default it creates a metal called principled BSDF. Principled BSDF is the main metal where we can create any kind of materials, like we can convert this to a plastic, metal, or a matte finish, rough finish, anything. Okay, so let's see the look and feel of this geometry. To see the look and feel, to see the color, one, you can go to the shading option, the shading workspace. You can see now it got white color. If you want to judge here in the layout, then change this into metal preview. Okay, so I'm going to click on this icon. You can see in the top right side, metal preview. So now we can see it's in white color. So I'll select one of the geometry. Let's change the color of it. Like this, you can change any color for your geometry. Okay, so let's go to the camera icon. Okay, and let's position this according to the camera view. So let's see whether it is going to render the same color. So for that purpose, I'm going for this shortcut and navigation lock. You can see view lock. I'll click on this camera to view. Okay, so I have locked this so that I can now pan around and position my geometry according to my view angle. Okay, so that I can take this output. And in the right side, I am going for this output property, the printer icon, and I will change this value to 50%. Okay, so I want a less size image output. Then I'm going here left side, top, render, and I'll click on this render image. Now you got the render, right? This is the render. We have collected the render, and now you can save this image, save, and you can define which format you are saving from here, like JPEG or PNG. If you want background transparent, keep it as PNG, or go for JPEG, give a name and save it in wherever you require. Okay, got it? And you can see in that render it was very jagged surface. If you want smooth, already you want to tell shade smooth. Now it is in smooth. Now you can tell render it again. Done. So this way you can render, and we can also see it got the color. So now let's go back to the perspective view. So I'll switch off this one, dock. Let's go back to the perspective. Now you know how to apply the color. Now we will talk about how to use workspace in shading. Okay, this is a very powerful workspace because it got node connections. So let's create one more geometry and let's apply the metal through here. Okay, so I'll click on G and I'll move it in x-axis. Let's move it in y-axis. Keep it somewhere here so that I can position one more geometry in the center. So let's add a geometry. You can also add geometry from here. So for this geometry, let's add a new metal. You can see there is a new metal here. Okay, you can click on new, and we have created a new shading for it. Okay, from here I can change the color. Done. It's very simple. You can also add other metal than principal BSDF for going for add, and you can also see there are many different ways of applying. You can apply shaders, and you can see principal BSDF is here. You can just apply, I want only a color, then you can apply just a diffuse, it's only a color. If you want glow, then you can apply emission, like that. Okay, and if you want to add some textures which is pre-built inside, that is called procedural maps. Okay, so you can assign it here. So let's see one by one. So before that, we have added the colors. Now let's see how to apply the same color. For this cube, I want the blue color, the same, it should share, the metal should share same color. So what you can do is select it, and you can see there is an icon here. Click the icon, and you can see the three metals which you have created. So now I'll click on this blue. Now I got the same color. So what happened is, same metal is shared with these two geometries. Okay, if I change anything, see both are changing at a time. Okay, got it. Now if you want to bring back, I want to apply white color for this sphere, just go here and bring it back, and always rename it. Okay, better if you rename, that will be much better. Okay, so instead of telling this blue metal 001, just name it as blue, 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 like this. And also you can see there is a number here. Number, it is telling 2. What is this 2? Means this blue metal is shared to two geometries. That's what is called 2. Okay, if you tell metal, it's not at all. No, it's now displaying for only one. There is no number. Okay, so I'll deselect. Now if you go for the blue, it won't show. No, again it is now shade for this 2. Okay, you can remove here. So I removed everything. Okay, and now you can just share only one. Done. I didn't share it. Okay, just go explore about this. Okay, how to apply color and how to share same color for multiple geometries. Okay, then after understanding the color, the next thing you need to explore about the shaders. Okay, like for example, you can see subsurface. If you want to add some glowness, like skin glow, then play around this subsurface value. Okay, it will give something like a skin glow, and you should also change the render setting. That one we'll see later, but keep in mind subsurface is for subsurface scattering metal. Okay, for something like a glowing skin. Okay, and you can also see a metallic. If you want a geometry, let's say for this geometry I want a metallic finish, then just add this metallic. But you can see here it is bringing it like something like a dark shaded metallic output, but we are not seeing any reflection. So that reflection is controlled in this area called roughness. Okay, so if you bring it down completely, you will get a complete reflection. Now you want to think like what kind of metal it is either it is a plastic or metal. So, and what is the roughness you want to give? Even wood doesn't have any shininess, but when we add polish for that, we'll get the shininess. So at that time you need to think like what is the amount of reflection you want to give, and what is the amount of roughness you want to apply on the reflection. Okay, and specular is related to the highlight area, the specularity which comes from the light, the shininess area, that also you can control here. Anisotropic is angular kind of specularity you can give. You can see there is a rotation also. If there is a very lengthy geometry, if you want to add a very lengthy specularity, you can go for it. So this is specular value. You can also add shininess specularity here. This is the shininess specularity. You can see if I remove, there is no shininess. So the shininess comes from surrounding highlight area. Okay, from the light for now. Okay, in the same way you can just explore all this. And if you want something like alpha, then you can see there is a alpha. Alpha means complete making it transparent. But if I reduce this value, okay, it is not giving any alpha textures. So we require some more settings for this. We'll go through. And you can also see transmission is also a see-through object, okay, which you can play around using the IOR value to make it a transparent of a glass, transparent of a water, transparent of a oil. So many things you can play around with the IOR combination values. Okay, so let's see how to make the geometry transparent now. So you can see there is a alpha here, and if you want to make this transparent, so let's select this, go to the metal property. If you scroll down, you can see here in the settings, it is telling the blend mode is opaque. Opaque means no transparent. So only, even though if I bring it back, it is not giving any transparent. So you need to change this to alpha clip. Now you can see the geometry is a completely transparent geometry. Okay, so you need to have two things. Okay, one with this value, one you need to change the settings blend mode to the alpha clip. So let's bring it back. In the same way, if you want a transmission, a transparent value, then you can see here, this is for the transmission value. So for this, if you want to apply, then you need to also switch on this option called screen space reflection. Okay, so refraction it is. So IOR stands for index of refraction and reflection values, right? So it is a refraction means see-through, right? So you want to switch on screen space refraction, and there is another place which you want to switch on in the render setting. Okay, so let's go to the render setting. In the render party, for now we are using the EV method of rendering. Okay, so in the EV method of rendering, you can see screen space reflection is here. So you need to switch on even the screen space reflection and refraction of it. Okay, still there is one more. You want to come back to the metal, still it is in opaque, then you want to change it to alpha blend. Okay, now you can see it got now a refraction. The geometry is now a refraction geometry. I can see through inside what it is there, right? Okay, so now if you want to more play, then you want to use this IOR value and you can play around this. Okay, play around using the IOR value. Like 1.33 is for creating a water refraction value, like that. Okay, now let's reset the file. Now let's explore what is textures. Okay, so let's go to the metal property. You can add the textures. You can see there is an icon here, two small tiny dot. Okay, one small dot white and a big one color. Okay, so this colors indicates to connect the nodes. Okay, this small tiny white dot indicates to create an animation, means you can change color animation like that. Okay, when you click this, it will ask us to add the texture. So instead of this solid white color, let's switch this to metal preview. Instead of this solid white color, so we can add some textures. We can bring the texture file from your Photoshop, photography, that is called bitmap images, right? Or we can create a texture inside the blender only, that is called procedural textures. Procedural textures means which can be edited inside the software itself. Like for example, brick texture, for example. Okay, so if I add this brick texture, okay, now you can see we got the brick texture which is projected from the top here. Okay, and but side it's not so perfect, right? So those things we can control. I'll show you later on how to control this position placement. So for now, understand now how to apply the texture. Like let's go inside and you can see the property of this brick texture. So it is better to explore this in a shading editor. Okay, so go to the shading editor. This is the better place to explore it, right? Because we got all separate. the surface shader, the material, and the texture. Then you can just scroll and you can see here. Okay, you can see the color of the brick. You can change, right? And you can even play around the scaling of the texture. All those you can just play around this, and no need to create anything in Photoshop. So you can play and create the textures directly inside this blender. So only it is called procedural maps. Okay, so how to disconnect this node if I want to create another texture for this? So just select this, okay, and you can drop it. It will disconnect. You can keep it aside. You can later on reuse, or you can delete this. Okay, so you can also add from here. You can go here, Shift A, go to search, and if you know the names, you can directly type it here, like checker texture. Or for the fresher, just go to the texture and see like what all the textures they have already kept here. Okay, so let's add a checker texture. So I got the checker texture. You want to just connect this yellow, which will always go to the yellow color. Okay, you should not go for other. Yellow goes to the yellow of it. Okay, and we got the checker texture, and it is wrapped all around, not like brick texture. Okay, but all this placement can be controlled. We'll see that later. So now let's change this color. Done. See, so in the same way we can add texture for other, like I want a shininess on this geometry. So what you want to do, I want some metallic finish as well as some reflection. You can see now we also got a reflection. So you can see here it got the reflection, but I don't want this kind of reflection. I want some rough reflection. Okay, not this complete rough. So what you can do, you can add some textures. So I'll search for something like a noise texture. Okay, and I can click this factor and connect it to this to generate a roughness of the noise. So now you can see it doesn't got that kind of quality, but it is having some amount of reflection, but it is having a rough value. So can I will play around this, like what is the roughness value of the reflection you require, like this. See, it got rough. So in the same way, I told this gray will go to the gray connection. If you want a color, then go to the color connection of it. Okay, so this is a roughness actually in the color, a rough value of the color, but I don't want. I want a checker, but I want this roughness inside the rough value. So likewise, you can create many things. Instead of going for the value, you can go with the texture, and this texture will play around this value. Okay, now let's see how to control the alpha now. Okay, so now we have created a checker texture, but I want this for example this dark area as a transparent. Okay, so what you want to do, if you want anything as a transparent, okay, no need to go and sit and do the boolean. You can create a white and black image. Okay, so what I will do, I'll add one more checker texture, and I'll connect this factor to the alpha, and I'll take this to completely black. Okay, and what I will do, still not fixed, so I want a alpha output. So let's go and in the setting make it as a alpha clip. Now you can see we have made, what happened is we have made this black color area as a alpha texture, so the black converted to a transparent image. Okay, so like this you can create many tricks of model like plants, petals, leaves, all those, and even robes. the faraway geometries, anything, grill designs using the texture map. Okay, you can also create your own texture and bring it as an image. Create the texture in your Photoshop and bring it here. Okay, so to bring any outside image, just you want to go and type image texture. Okay, so you can type image texture and bring your texture and connect this alpha to alpha, or if you want a image color, then let's go here, let's disconnect this one. Now this time I want to add a image, so I'll go here, new. Okay, and we can create a new image here itself. Okay, and we can generate a solid color, or we can paint on the 3D geometry. That one again we will see that one later. For now we'll go for open, and let's open any of the image. I don't know which image I got in the desktop. Let's open, let's see. I got some image and connect it. So now you can see there is a character. So I added a character image from the color and checker from the alpha. You can even remove and you can check it like this. Okay, so now we already seen how to apply the color and how to apply the texture, how to change the shader of it, all the basics. So now let's see the very important basics of how to control the placement of this texture. To control the placement of the texture, you need to add some extra nodes. Okay, like go here, shift A, make a note of all these nodes. One is texture coordinator, texture coordinate, or you can also add UV map, any one of this node you require, any one of this. Okay, and one more you require, that is mapping. Okay, so now this image I want to control the position on the surface. So what you want to do, you need to connect this vector calculation to the vector of it. Okay, like this. And where is our texture? Don't worry, it will come because we are not connected. Either you want to connect any one of this. Okay, either this or this, anything. So for now let's connect this UV calculation. UV is nothing but position of the image on a geometry. It is nothing but like XY. Okay, so I'll connect this UV position calculation for this vector. So once you connect, so we got the texture back, and also you can see some values. You can also change, like I want to control the texture way or a vector way or a normal way. Okay, it is better to keep a texture. See, the normal is controlling differently. So let's bring it back to the texture way, anything. So, and you can see here we got the control now. So you can just move in the x-axis. I want to make is completely side. I want to make him straight. So we need to go for rotation. Let's change the value of this rotation. Which value? I think this one. Okay, so let's apply this like 90 degree and let's see what will happen. 90. Okay, he is flipped up and down, side on. Let's make it minus 90 degree, and we got it. Okay, and he is wrapped like a sticker wrapping. You should always think like we are wrapping the image around our model. So the image is wrapped now, and you can also see here it's completely inside. So let's use this location. Let's bring it little bit side. Yes, like this. So understood. So this is the way you can control it. In exploring, we also saw brick texture, right? Procedural map. This is our own image. So let's bring that and let's see how we can control even that. So let's move this down, shift A and type brick texture, and let's add it first. So this is what we got now on the time. So the brick is actually projecting from top and bottom on one axis, right? And we are not getting other brick. So any of this, okay, this two should be there. This is the position rotation scale, and it is controlling the UV, means placement of this texture. Which texture you want to control? This texture. So connect this vector to this vector. Now you got it. Okay, now everywhere we can see our brick texture. Now we can change this, we can rotate this. It acts totally different. Okay, see this rotation acting totally different. Okay, so you need to see like which axis works for you and apply that axis like this. Okay, I am just doing some changes, and I am doing right click so that it will go back to the default. Okay, and you can also scale. See, you can also scale this texture. Many things you can control. Got it? So this is the way you can control the texture position on your geometry. To explore this on how to apply color, texture, and how to control the UV mapping using this mapping and texture coordinate nodes. Okay, explore this, and we'll see in the next class.